Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. So here's another deck profile for you guys today. Sorry for the slight delay. I had issues with the internet yesterday because the weather was just really bad. But anyway, I figured I'd bring you guys Crystal Beast. Been a little while since I last picked this deck up and decided to make quite a bit of changes. Last time I played this deck, it was mostly just to deal with Tearlaments because I was playing more of a banishment build because I just don't want Tearlaments to kick off. But now that Tearlaments is kind of just gone, I really don't have to worry about them as much. But anyway, figured I'd just kind of adjust the deck to deal with the current form because, the best decks right now are Labyrinth, Kashtira, and Labyrinth. And there's a lot of good rogue decks like Mathmech, Dark Worlds. I just want to be better prepared for that. Trap Tricks even. So yeah, figured I'd share with you guys what I came up with and let's get started. So the main deck is 41 cards. Starting off with 3 copies of Crystal Beast Rainbow Dragon. All the Crystal Beasts having a gimmick where if they're destroyed, they go to the spell and trap card zone and become continuous spells. So just bear that in mind. But what this card reads is that if an attack is declared involving a Crystal Beast monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. And you can banish this card from your spell and trap card zone. And then you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Crystal Beast monster from your deck, but its effects are negated. However, once that goes, you can then add a ultimate crystal monster, in which case it's going to be your Rainbow Dragon. And the fact that this card is a Crystal Beast, it counts as an additional name that you will need for the Rainbow Dragon itself. Moving on, 3 copies of Sapphire Pegasus. This is your main starter. Once it's summoned, you can place 1 Crystal Beast monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard to your spell and tracker zone. And bear in mind, this is not once per turn, so if you can manage to get multiples out, yeah, Sapphire Pegasus is pretty nice. And the fact that it is a level 4, it comes in handy, especially if you need to go into some rank 4s. I am running 1 Cobalt Eagle just to kind of help me recycle certain ones that I may need. And 1 Ruby Carbuncle. If it's special summon, you can special summon as many Crystal Beast monsters from your spell and trap card zone as you want. So yeah, it's pretty nice. Alright, so now just let you guys know, this is basically a mix of the Advanced Dark and the Conclave control build. So with the Advanced Dark, I'm running 1 Advanced Crystal Beast Sapphire Pegasus. Kind of does the same thing with the original one, but only works on the Advanced Crystal Beast. Now, just bear in mind, the Advanced Crystal Beast monsters do have a weakness where if Advanced Dark is not on the field, they do get sent to the graveyard. But again, you mostly just need them for the names. 1 Advanced Crystal Beast Cobalt Eagle. You discard this to search out Advanced Dark. 1 Advanced Crystal Beast Amethyst Cat. I like this one because the fact that while it's on the field, all Advanced Crystal Beast monsters can attack your opponent directly. So pretty good for time, but of course keep in mind the damage is half when you do this. And 1 Advanced Crystal Beast Ruby Carbuncle. This one has the effect that the original Carbuncle had in the anime, but you can special summon this card from your spell and trap card zone, and then special summon as many Advanced Crystal Beast monsters from your spell and trap card zone as you want. So pretty good. And just to kind of round out our monsters, oops, didn't mean to bump the camera there. Running 2 copies of Rainbow Dragon. This does come up from time to time. It's mostly just a 4K beat stick, but it does have an effect where you can shuffle back everything on the field into the deck, and just again great for as a board wipe. Now, of course, you can't use that effect on the turn it's summoned, but it's still pretty good. All right, so that rounds up all our monsters. Moving on to spells, and I do have quite a lot of them. Starting off with 3 copies of Rainbow Bridge. This card's pretty broken because it's not once per turn. You can add any crystal spell or trap from your deck to your hand. Next, 3 copies of Crystal Bond. This is the Rhoda for the deck. Let me just the camera here. But yeah, you search out any Crystal Beast monster and then place 1 on your spell and trap card zone. Now this one is a hard once per turn, sadly. Next, 3 copies of Rainbow Bridge of the Heart. It's double summon for your Crystal Beast monsters, but it also has an effect where during your main phase you can destroy 1 Crystal Beast card from your 1 Crystal Beast on the field or in your hand. And if you do, add 1 crystal spell or trap from your deck to your hand. And if a Crystal Beast card is placed in your spell and trap card zone, even during damage step, you can target 1 card your opponent controls, return that card and this card back to your hand. Next, 3 copies of Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates. This card is pretty insane because it has 2 really good effects. You can reveal 1 ultimate crystal monster from your hand and then activate 1 of these effects. And if you control an ultimate crystal monster, you can activate 1 or 2 of these effects in sequence instead. And of course, you do not have to reveal a monster if you already control Rainbow Dragon. But anyway, you can take 1 Rainbow Bridge, add it to your hand, or you can send it to the graveyard. And then the second effect is that you can special summon 1 Crystal Beast monster card from your hand, deck, graveyard, or spell and trap card zone. So a good way to kind of get more Crystal Beast monsters, basically. So yeah, Awakening of the Crystal Ultimates is really nice. And since it does have Crystal in the name, it is searchable through Rainbow Bridge. 2 Foolish Burial Goods. We do have 2 main targets for this card, so we'll get to that momentarily. 2 Triple T. I decided to cut the Pot of Prosperity simply because with this build you can't really afford to banish too much of your extra deck, so that's why I decided to opt to just go with Triple T now, along with Called by the Grave, and of course the field spells I'm running. 1 Necro Valley. It is searchable with one of our trap cards, which again we'll get to in a second. And of course 1 Advanced Dark, which is what you're gonna play a majority of the time once you get the Advanced Cobalt Eagle out. But yeah, that pretty much runs out all our spells here. Like I said, that was a lot, but it is necessary for a deck like this. For traps, 3 copies of Imperm. You know, definitely one of the best hand traps of the format. Hurts a lot of decks, honestly. 3 Crystal Conclave. Like I said, this is basically Conclave control. 1 Crystal Miracle. I was playing 2 before, but I decided to cut it down to just 1 because again, it's good to see it in your opening hand, but you mostly want to send this off of Foolish Burial Goods along with this card. Now this card is insane. Rainbow Bridge of Salvation. I really like that this card even exists. If there are 2 or more different monster types among the level 10 or higher on the field, shuffle all cards except this one from both players' hands, fields, and graveyards into the deck. Then each player draws 5 cards. You can banish this card from your graveyard, add 1 Crystal Beast monster and 1 field spell from your deck to your hand. And of course, you can only use each of these effects once per duel. So this is pretty nuts because it searches any field spell. So like, if you basically just need to play a hard reset button, it just like starts over, get Necro Valley, and you're all set to go. Now, of course, it doesn't shuffle back banished cards, which is really nice too. So yeah. All right, so for the extra deck, running 1 copy of Ultimate Crystal Rainbow Dragon Overdrive. Does come up sometimes, but basically if you have 7 or more Crystal Beast monsters of different names banished, this card gains 7,000 attack points, and then of course it can tag itself out as long as it didn't attack. Shuffle everything back on the field, and then of course special summon as many banished Crystal Beast monsters as you can. So, but yeah, I like the fact that it does get pretty big, and yeah, it's just nuts overall. 2 Rainbow Overdragon, opted to 2 because, you know, Cashier is in the format, and this is probably going to be the one you'll summon the most, because all you have to do is just tribute a Rainbow Dragon, special summon this literally for free, and it can boost itself up in power by banishing a Crystal Beast monster. You may not get the shuffling back effect because, you know, it does have to be fusion summoned, and if you tribute a Rainbow Dragon to summon this, it counts as a special summon, not a fusion summon. 1 Cross Sheep, you know, just because, you know, we are running a couple fusions as well as Xyz monsters. 1 Wind, the Wind Charmer Verdant. Since I do mostly play wind monsters, it's a good way just to search out a Sapphire Pegasus. 1 IP Masquerena, and of course, got to go with a Nightmare Unicorn to go along with it. 1 BOS, figured why not. Appaloosa, and Axis Code Talker, which is a good target for your IP as well. For the Xyz lineup, I am running Exciton Knight. It's just like a good board wipe base card. 1 Baguska, it's really annoying. The one you'll probably play the most is Time Thief Redoer, because, you know, it just hurts a lot of strategies. The fact that you basically get to take a card on the top card of your opponent's deck, it's pretty nuts. 1 Abyss Dweller, and of course Zeus to go with it, because, you know, might as well, right? And that rounds out our extra deck. All right, so for the side deck, I decided to opt to play 3 copies of Artifact Lancia. This actually hurts Kashtira, Branded, and funny enough, Dark World, because, you know, it also plays around Evenly Matched too, which is one of the things why I run it, because, you know, you generally want to shotgun this on your opponent's turn, well, mainly during their standby phase. That way you can just ensure that nothing on your side of the field gets banished. 3 Ash Blossom. I wanted to main deck it, but I figured, you know what, Imperm is fine. Plus, I didn't want to go exceed past 41 cards. Just, you know, for that reason alone. 2 Book of Eclipse. Since it is kind of easy to kind of board wipe your opponent with this deck, I figured, you know, it's not a bad choice. 1 Zombie World. This is primarily for the bird matchup, Flunderies specifically, because, you know, I don't want them to go off during my turn, because I do kind of rely on my normal summon quite a lot, so that's just my take on it. 3 D-Barrier. Hurts a lot of strategies. Just make sure you call the right choices, you know, like for Cashier, call Xyz. For Branded, call Fusion. And of course, 3 copies of Evenly Matched. just because it hurts so much if your opponent doesn't have a way to stop it. Especially trap tricks. It's like the Xyz monsters and the Link monsters, even though they're immune to traps, evenly matched affects the player, so they still have to banish their cards face down. So yeah, evenly matched is just so nasty. But yeah, that's all I got. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys again next time.